So, welcome to Coffee with Enlight. Today we have Ekspress Grupp CEO Mari-Liis with us. Welcome.
Hi.
So, I would like you to just in 1 minute tell our viewers what does Ekspress Grupp do today?
Thanks for having me. Ekspress Grupp is a listed company, and at the moment we define ourselves, and we have been defining ourselves as a media company. So we operate different news portals in 3 countries. Our main and well-known brand is Delfi. So this is the biggest news media portal in Latvia, Lithuania, and also in Estonia. We also operate in digital outdoor, and we also operate in classifieds business model, which means that we are selling, for example, event tickets in Latvia, in Estonia. So we have like 3 main business categories in our portfolio at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you could explain to us, because I think Estonians, in Estonia you're very well known, but maybe not so well known in Latvia and Lithuania. On the other hand, your Latvian and Lithuanian operations are not very well known by Estonians. So maybe you can explain, I mean, what is your market share or share of sales and so on in the different countries in the Baltics?
Yes, definitely. In Estonia, mainly people pay attention to our Estonian business. But yes, as I told, our main brand Delfi is operating in 3 countries, and that means that we are the biggest portal, also news media portal, also in Latvia and Lithuania. On daily basis here in Estonia, Delfi portal is visited by 300 to 400 people. And in Latvia and Lithuania it's even bigger because the audience is bigger in there. So yes, and in Lithuania, for example, people, they know, every person knows what is Delfi. But what they don't know is that Delfi is belonging to the Estonian company, which is a stock-listed company. So the Delfi brand is very well known. We don't have any problem with that. And our approach has been that our main drivers are our best-known brands. So not exactly the holding company, but more like our well-known brands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Right. So let's get to the bit harder questions. In the Baltics, the GDP, for example, in Estonia is probably declining this year, around 2%. Latvia and Lithuania, they probably are around 0. And we have always learned that when GDP declines, the advertising market declines with it. But so far this year, 9 months this year, you have grown advertising revenues by 10% year on year. So the question is, how is it possible to grow ad revenues when we are in a recession?
It's a very good question. All the previous research have shown what you just mentioned. With the recession, usually the advertising revenue is declining. At the moment, the behavior in the market is a little bit different. So the markets are standing quite strong in Estonia, which is the biggest decliner among the 3 states what you mentioned, and also in Lithuania. In Latvia, we have seen a slight decline in advertising revenues, but Latvia is the smallest revenue contributor. So that is how we have been able to show the increase in there. And by advertising revenue, we don't necessarily mean only the banner revenue in Delfi, but already for long ago we have been new product lines in our portfolio have been under the quite a good attention from our side, in that sense that we combine, for example, our conferences, what we are doing in different countries with the online revenue. Then we are super strong in podcasts, for example, in Estonia. We are super strong in video streaming in Estonia, in Lithuania. So that is all. We have quite a wide portfolio of the products at the moment. And I think that we are the number one choice among the local medias for the consumers and ad clients.
And how much does the digital revenues play in your ability to show growth? I mean, you grew, I think, your digital subscribers to 180,000 at the end of 9 months. Mm-hmm. Double-digit growth, obviously, and is that also a big reason why you can increase ad revenues while maybe the conventional print-based advertising market is declining? Or?
Yes, the print is, by the way, we have been quite stable in print revenues as well. So they are declining, but maybe 1%, 2% per year, but we are growing in digital more. That is why also our whole revenue is growing. Mm-hmm. And we are dividing for ourselves the reader revenue and the advertising revenue. Advertising revenue is bigger still in our group, but we are moving on very well with the digital advertising, not advertising, but reader revenue, which means digital subscriptions. And that is why we are building these revenue streams for ourselves, because we see that for the growth, the advertising revenue is not enough. And also for the stability, as you just mentioned in the previous question, that when there are not so stable times at the economy, then reader revenue is so much more stable.
And looking to next year, I hope we don't have negative GDP growth, but if we do, could you still grow revenues? What is your guess or feeling? Can you do this another year, or is it like a one year thing, the difference? And also connected to that is, how long do you see the revenues? What is your visibility, so to speak? Can you see into next month or maybe even into next quarter?
The visibility is still a little bit unclear. It is already from the COVID times, and the war came, then now it's economy is declining, but despite of that, we have shown very big growth in recent years. Mm-hmm. This year also we have grown, our advertising has grown, our digital revenues from the reader side have been growing, and for the next year also, I mean, this would be not a goal for us just to hold on for the revenues. We would like to grow. Let's see what the economy will show in different countries, but we believe that we are the first choice for the advertising clients and also for the digital subscribers. So if they need to drop something, then Delfi would be in their portfolio. You know, that it's the biggest channel, and that is why we are quite confident in there.
Okay. So the statement that you wrote in the Q3 report, that you are moderately cautious to the advertising market at the end of this year, that is still valid, but you haven't seen any deterioration since then?
Yes, so I think that September was a little was more stable than the other months, but now we still see that we are achieving our goals, what we have put out to ourselves. So my face is a little bit more happier than it was in the end of September. So we see that the things are moving into the direction we like.
Right. Okay, so moving on to dividend and dividend yield related questions. You did a buyback this year at 170, and obviously now the share is around 130, so it should be cheaper or looking more attractive today than when you did the buyback. How do you feel? Is there a chance for another buyback next year, for example?
This is obviously for the shareholders to decide. So next year we are keeping to our or we have set up for ourselves the dividend policy, and we try to keep to that. But other than that, let's see what the shareholders have to say about buyback. And but yes, I also think that the share price is quite attractive at the moment.
Right, and maybe related to that is, how is the acquisition environment today? Do you see attractive prices out there, or is it still very expensive? And coming back to this buyback or dividend, are you more in an acquisition mode than dividend paying mode, you say?
I have been saying that already for several years, that we are still in acquisition mode, which means that we would like to enlarge our footprint. But regarding the prices in the market, so I haven't seen like this some Christmas sale somewhere that the businesses are super cheap to acquire at the moment. But what I have seen is that the optimism is clearly moved away from the prices. But let's see, we always have something to decide on our table. And yes, we want to achieve the growth, and that is why we are also in the investment mode already for several years.
Right. The dividend policy is to pay at least 30%. You have paid a lot more the last 2 years, I believe. And then the question is, do you also have the goal to keep the dividend steady from an absolute euro point of view? You don't want it to fluctuate too much, that you if you pay 5 cents or 6 cents, then you would like to kind of keep that base level, so to speak.
Yes, the previous years also have had some extra or one-off divestments, for example, and that is why we have paid higher dividend as well. So, but purely to our business activities, I think that at the moment, so we have set our dividend policy, and that is why we want to keep up to. But other than that, yeah, let's see. So, what is the shareholders' mood, and what are their expectations on dividends?
Right. And speaking of the shareholder mood, the main shareholder is obviously Hans Luuk. How active is he in the company today? I mean, operationally, does he come into the office every day and puts the dots on the I's and cross the T's, or he calls in from Florida like once a month and checks? How? I think a lot of Estonians would like to know how active he really is in the company today.
Let's say that I see him quite rarely these days, so he doesn't come to office maybe sometimes for a month or two, and definitely he's not in the office on daily basis. But we communicate with him, so we have some calls, and as a former journalist, I think that he's quite a good owner for the media company, because he knows how the media works, how the journalism works. So we have seen also on different times and different countries, we have seen the owners which don't have like these right reasons to own the media company, and that is not ending up not very well. So if you know, and if you demand that your media organization is profitable, I think that this is the best guarantee for the independent media. So you are not dependent on anyone, you are making your own profits, and you don't need to please anyone in order to make your editorials work.
Right. And so looking forward to 2024 and 25, what will your main focus be? What's your main goal, and also what's your main worry when you look into the coming 2 years?
Yeah, let's start maybe from the worries part. So definitely this weak situation in the economy, this is so as we already said that the view for the future is quite foggy. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the interest rates. So I think that this is also quite affects quite much our business. So the second thing, we still are digitalizing our business. We still have some paper assets. We still have some or quite decent revenues from the paper side, and the digital subscriptions is our clear path, and we have our clear goals what we have set ourselves. So we need to achieve those. And from the other side, we also would like to enlarge our footprint in different countries in the media or in the industries which are quite close to media, or what you can empower with media. So that is our goal, and we still see quite big growth opportunities.
Okay, and speaking of the digital revenues, do you see a chance to increase the average digital subscription price?
Yeah, it very much depends on a company. We have at the moment 6 media companies which are working with the digital subscriptions. So every company is in a different place at the moment. So some of the companies already have quite large digital subscriber base. And if they can only grow for, I don't know, 10 cents of the average price, it already affects your bottom line quite remarkably. But some of the countries are in the position, or some of the companies are in the position just to get more subscribers on board at the moment. So they are not so much working with the average price, because at the moment, in this phase of a strategy, it's not important. It's important to collect yourself a large digital subscriber base, and afterwards start to work with the average price.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for coming, and we are excited for next year.
Thank you so much.
That was fast.